This is the State of Mind podcast presented by Strange Brew Coffee House, your alumni-owned local coffee house with unique drinks and Mississippi roasted specialty coffee.
The competitive pieces that we've been able to add inside the roster is what I'm most excited about. 8 new D linemen, 6 new backers, 3 new jack backers, which is, that's one position. So we're talking about adding all of this depth to the room to be able to go compete.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it for real. It's cool to get to talk ball and figure out what's going on, especially right before I leave. But I got to get into the portal class. It's the recruiting class as a whole has been awesome. We got high school kids coming in that are talented, guys coming in from other colleges. Man, let us know what's been going on.
Yeah, so you look back at the last couple of months, and as we sit here today, we've got 43 guys that have enrolled this spring. So 52 new signees. So we've got 9 guys coming in June, but 43 guys that have shown up on campus. And then we've still, there's a couple portal guys still left out there that we're right in the middle of chasing. So when you look at that, you think about all the newness. But that to me is what's so exciting is there's been this, regardless of what happened, and it happened on the field last fall, but there's people that believe in our program. I think there's people that believe in leadership, and I think there's a lot of people that believe in Mississippi State. And so we're sitting here with a roster today that is completely different than it was a year ago today for a lot of reasons. There's been a lot of work go into it. Our administration, our support, and being able to get done what we've needed to get done has been second to none. So that's been, that's been humbling. And I'm excited about where we're at, but our roster today compared to a year ago, just completely different, and that's going to be a lot of fun to go to work.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of work you guys have put in just from the outside looking in, just completely flipping a roster. In a day and age, it's a little different, and I know you're used to it, being at Oklahoma and understanding how this transfer portal stuff works, but you see the donations that the fan base has been given. It really seems like everyone's buying in to what we got building here, and that's, big thanks to you on taking the charge of that. But, man, and not just what's coming in. Like, you had some key guys kind of stay back and see what you're building and the staff is building. Like Isaac Smith, we got Devon Booth back out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Shapen's coming back. Man, we got some guys, man. Talk to us about those leaders that are coming back and wanting to continue to build.
Yeah, retention was going to be a huge deal. We knew it was going to be a huge deal. Guys like Isaac, guys like Albert Reese, Blake Shapen, Sadu, and then Vaughn having the ability to come back and wanting to come back right here and not thinking about doing anything else. Those were huge steps for us. Retention will be a huge part of this game, and it'll be a huge part of sustaining for us. And for me, it's about the leadership, the culture, what's being created inside our walls every single day, and we've got guys inside the building that believe in where we're going, and that to me was huge for us as we get going on taking that next step.
Yeah, man. Something that was talked about before you got here was your ability to develop quarterbacks. Your track record speaks for itself, man. It seems like anytime you've had a quarterback, you've seen some great things. Talk to us about this quarterback room we got in 2025. Because it's crazy.
It is. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd trade it with anybody in the country. With Blake and his experience coming back, you look at him statistically through the first 4 games of the season, was able to do some really good things. I could not be more excited about him. Obviously, the ability to sign Luke in the portal was just a huge get for us, a kid that I recruited heavily out of high school that was very, very familiar with and excited about him, and his future here is going to be special. And then getting Camario here, and Camario being a pillar for us from a signing class standpoint and being this incredible leader that had every offer in America. And as we went through the things we went through, this is a guy that just stayed true to us and to who he knew he was. And having him here finally has been great. So, again, we've got this QB room that I think is special. And for me, that's going to be a huge key to our success.
It's definitely going to be one of the most talented quarterback rooms this school has ever had as far as a depth point. Man, like I saw some stuff on Kamario Taylor in high school.
Yeah.
Everyone that went and saw him play said he was just a different type of athlete.
Yeah.
And can you dive into what that is exactly?
Yeah, I think it's a it's a deal. When I first watched his tape, when I first got here, the comparison it's a strong one. But I go back to a guy that was actually in the same high school class as I was in. But I remember watching Vince Young's tape at Houston Madison, and a guy that could make every throw on the field, had this incredible arm talent. But man, his physical presence and the way he could run and how elusive he was for being such a big guy, that's who it reminded me of. Yeah. And you start spending time with Kamario and you understand how intelligent this young man is and how charismatic he is and how he's got the ability to lead and to inspire. And the fact that he's here and he's one of our own, man, is pretty special. So he's going to have a ton of work to do, but he knows that, and I think he's ate up with that. He's got two guys that are older than him that know how to work and know how to go about it, that have played ball, and so that's going to be great for our room. But man, just again excited about the entire room.
Yeah, and some other changes. You brought in some coaches. You brought in a couple coaches. What goes into that whenever you're bringing in some guys?
Yeah, the supplementing of the defensive staff, I'm fired up about. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Paul Rhodes and what he's done over his career, being a Power 5 head coach, having all the success that he's had as a defensive coordinator, whether it be in this league, in the Big 12, that was huge for us, huge for me. Having the ability to go get Vincent Dancy, another guy that's been a head coach, is from Jackson, or he's from Noxubee County, but he played at Jackson State, was head coach of Mississippi Valley State, coached at Jackson State, and a guy that had a lot of success with Prime at Colorado as well. So being able to bring him home was special, and then making the change in the offensive line, that was a hard decision for me. But at the end of the day, it was about making that room better. Phil is a guy that's been with me for 6 years prior to me being here. A guy that, again, had this incredible college career, had an incredible NFL career, a guy that is incredibly easy to recruit to, and is going to be just incredible for our room.
Open 7 days a week. Strange Brew is conveniently located on Highway 12 next to Chick-fil-A. Whether you're heading to class or cheering on the Bulldogs, let Strange Brew Coffee House be your caffeine companion.
Yeah, man, it's been a really busy off season for you guys.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was right as soon as the season ended. It was just like things started flying everywhere, and it's exciting, man. I'm a big believer in culture, and because Dad playing football at Bama, watching how Saban changed that whole culture over there was. I know it takes time, man, and seeing how that all unfolded, and you going into year 2, it's exciting times, man.
Yeah.
The fan base is definitely bought in with all the donations that the football team received, the athletic department received. And speaking of some changes, man, the Davis Wade's going to be having some new light stuff going on this year. I was learning a little bit about that, man. Anything you can share with that?
Zach and the team are constantly looking at ways to increase the experience on game day. And I think we're going to be ready to go do that. Our fan base is second to none. And I talked about it a little bit earlier. Our support and what has gone on from a giving standpoint over the last 2 months it's been humbling. And so for us to have the ability to go make the changes we need to make in Davis Wade to make game day better will be huge. With some other facility things that we've got in the works is going to be huge for us as we're building this thing to go sustain.
Going into next year, you look at the spring season coming up for you guys. What's looking ahead for you guys for this spring?
Yeah, I mean, for us, again, it starts with our roster and developing our roster, right? And the competitive pieces that we've been able to add inside the roster is what I'm most excited about. Mm-hmm. 8 new D linemen, 6 new backers, 3 new jack backers, which is, that's one position. So we're talking about adding all of this depth to the room to be able to go compete and go practice the way we need to practice to develop the roster the way we need to develop. And that's probably what I am most excited about, is being able to get a ton of reps between now and the end of spring ball so that guys have the ability to push each other, compete. There's not going to be anybody playing just because they have to. next fall, and that's again that's what I'm most excited about. So we've talked a ton about a behavior of earning it, and how we've got to go earn it every single day this winter and this spring, and we're off to a really good start.
Yeah, I saw some clips of the first meeting you held. I think it was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
You said we got to earn it every single day, and you finished by saying we're on the clock.
Yeah.
And I loved that because it's not. I don't think it's a very good thing to look at it and say, all right, our first football game's in blank amount of months.
Yeah.
But all we can control is today, and we got to go earn it.
That's it.
In every sport, it's like that. Like with baseball, it's the same way. It's you got to go earn it. Even in the off season, you're a couple months away, but you got to go work at it and get better.
No doubt. And that's I think that's life. Being present where your feet are every single day, and having the ability to wake up today and have the best day we've ever had, and being able to stack those days, and that's anything you're doing.
And something in baseball that's like one of the biggest challenges is being the same guy every day. It's whether you go 0 for 5, turn back around, you got a game the next day, you got to be the same guy.
That's right.
If you're real up and down, the season will eat you alive.
Yeah.
And the guys I'm around, and this is something I challenge myself with. Something I know I can get better at every day, every year. But something I've heard about guys that are around you, guys that play for you, guys that coach with you, is that you are the same guy every day. Where does that come from, and how do you do it? Because I'm trying to learn for this upcoming season. I need to be the same guy no matter what's going on.
Yeah, I think I've seen as a head high school coach, and he was the same every single day. And he used to talk about result not dictating how I prepare, result not dictating how I interact, result not dictating how I love. And that's that's who I am. And I think for me, it's no different being a head coach at 4A Andrews High School, in town of 9,000 people, or being a head coach in the SEC. I'm not going to lose sight of who I'm meant to be and who I'm supposed to be. And so I think that's without a doubt where I get it. I'm going to stay incredibly true to that, and hopefully our young people see that every day.
Yeah, and that's really cool, man, because I watch my dad and how he does things, and to hear you say that same way with me, man, I'm trying to learn how he does things as I get older. I'm trying to figure out what did he do, because life's hard, and what you do for a living is challenging, and you got to be the same guy every day. I believe that, and it's really cool to hear you to be a guy like that leading our university's football program. It's awesome. But man, we talked about spring, talked about the portal. Next season, what do you look at when you look at this schedule, man? Because I think football needs a big. This is just me. I think football needs to figure out the scheduling, man, because it's crazy how you have 16 teams in the conference now. You take out the West and East division, and it's like some teams get a cream of the crop schedule, some teams get a little lucky, man. It's crazy. Like, do you have any idea where SEC football is going with scheduling? Have you heard anything?
No, I think that's still up in the air a little bit. They're still having conversations of what it's going to look like moving forward. I do know that we're going to play the schedule, and man, I love the fact that you win in this league, it matters, and it means something. And I love the challenge of that. I love putting on the tape every single Sunday after cleaning the last one and saying, we got our hands full. Let's go find a way.
I love that.
And that to me is, man, that's the ultimate competitor mentality. You want to do it with the best, against the best every single day. You win in this league, it matters, and we're going to find ways to do it.
Love that, man. The big reason why I chose to come play here for baseball is because you want to play the best.
No
man.
doubt.
You want to beat the best. You want to compete against the best, and you want to get after it against them, because it's a big measuring stick. You know what I mean? It's like kind of sees where you stack up really in this life and what you do for a living. And another thing that we've kind of gotten into lately is the rev share thing. I know is going to be changing the landscape of stuff. Is there anything that you know about that? It seems like it's a big question mark right now, and people are trying to figure that out, and in every sport too, not just football.
It's ever changing. I think we'll know more in the next couple of weeks. I think there's things that are on the horizon that got a chance to completely derail some things. But I've told Zach this 1,000 times. Instead of trying to predict, I'm going to fight like heck to adapt and make sure we're doing right by our student athlete every single day and play inside the rules and be aggressive as we do it and make sure we're putting our guys in positions of success. But it's so far out of our hands as coaches that you have no opportunity to predict and actually be spot on.
Yeah, man, it seems to be something that everyone's trying to figure out. I talked to Coach Lamonis baseball, and he's the same way. We're trying to figure it out. And what's it been like being a head coach with the landscape of what you do changing so much the last couple years? And I know as a head coach, you've only known NIL era and transfer portal era,
Right.
which is awesome, I think. But what's it like? It seems to be just something that you got to stay on your toes the entire time.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Mark Votler, our GM, and I have talked about it a ton as we've gone through this over the last 14 months. Here we are, first year head coach in our first season. He's really first time GM having that much control in what's going on in the roster and our day-to-day conversations and the landscape truly being different than it's ever been. So everything we've ever learned from a roster management standpoint, everything we've ever learned from a recruiting and footprint and being inside out and being a program that wants to build this thing to go sustain and being so heavily indebted into this 5-hour radius, which we still obviously are going to be. But, man, having to change on the fly. I didn't want to be in the portal as much as we were this year, but we had no choice. We had to flip the roster and do what we needed to do to create some competitive advantage. We've done that. And so it's funny that it's happening all right now. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I tell the staff and the guys all the time, man, I'll take all of it, want all of it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to figure out ways to create advantage and make it work.
Yeah, you definitely flipped the roster, as many new faces as we have, without forgetting about some of the key guys that you retained, which is always a big thing. But is there anybody in the portal you want to talk about that you think is someone the fan base should be really excited about? And I know there's a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. I think when I look at it offensively, we've been able to get some dynamic playmakers at the skill positions. I think people were really, really concerned when we had some receivers, choose to leave. And I don't think we're ever going to have to worry about receiver play as long as I'm the head coach here. We're going to be just fine at receiver. Yeah. And so we've been able to –
it's 6, right?
Yep,
six wide receivers that are coming in.
And 2 of the fastest guys in all of college football. I mean, truly the fastest guys in all of college ball. So we're going to be in really good shape there. Our running back room, we're able to go get Fluff, which is a guy that, had this great freshman season, has this incredible future ahead of him. And then 5 days later, we get Vaughn back. And so our running back room today, in comparison to what it was a year ago today, man, it's night and day different. And so excited about that. We talked a little bit about Luke. On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, you talking about the linebacker position and what we were able to get done there. I mean, we were able to go get a guy from Tennessee that played really, really well in Jalen and played a ton of snaps for them, which is huge. And then in the defensive line, to me, it's about depth and what we were able to get done across the board. Again, 8 different D linemen, 3 different jacks. It is going to be something that's going to create just a ton of depth for us and competition this spring. And I can't wait to see who rises to the top in those rooms.
Yeah, you got a lot of competition coming up with all these talented players here, man. And you talked about Vaughn Booth. I thought you had a post-game interview. I forgot which game it was, but you were talking about seeing him mature into what he became towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I think the coolest part was just seeing him develop throughout the year and seeing how much, he just kept getting better and better. Yeah. It just seemed like throughout the year that dude was running harder, staying on his feet longer, breaking tackles. And having him back mixed with Fluff, who I think is the best first name that I've ever heard in my life for a running back.
Yeah.
It's really cool, man. And I know the fan base is excited. definitely bought in, and we can't wait to see what 2025 holds, man.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be fun, man.
It is. And best is yet to come, man. And again, our support, everything that's gone on to get us to this point from a roster standpoint, what we're doing facility-wise, man, people are excited, and I do. Whether it's recruits, our fan base, people that are supporting, I think people see the energy and the belief, the toughness, and the love that's happening inside the walls every single day to be able to go and make our great university proud.
Yeah, man. Coach Lebby's got to get back on the recruiting trail. He's staying busy, but man, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely,
I know,
man.
For real, man. It means a lot. Is there anything you want to tell the fan base before we get out of here?
I just continue to love our guys, continue to support our guys. Our guys are what makes it go, and we're working every single day to make our place proud. And I couldn't be more convicted about where we're going. I'm incredibly confident on where we're at, who we are, and what's about to happen. So, Jake, appreciate you, man. Go kill it. We'll be pulling for you, dude. We'll be watching, and Hell State, man.
Hell State.
Thanks for joining us for the State of Mind podcast presented by Strange Brew Coffee House, your go-to spot for that perfect brew.